Hey y'all, this is Ramblin Chris. And today we are going to replace a tire. Now this is on my buddy's Suzuki LS650. And as you can see, this rear tire is worn all the way down. This is down the rubber, and in a few spots is actually down to the bands, and you definitely can't run that. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace it with the exact same tire, which you can see, you got a lot more tread on that. So the first thing we have to do on this bike is you have to disconnect the brake, which is a drum on these, and then you can take the axle out and remove it. So we're going to get right on that. Alright, so to take off the lever here, what you're going to need is a 10mm wrench. So we're just going to loosen that up there. Okay, and there's this little spring clip here on the back. Right now with the bullet out all the way, we can just pry that out. Pops it right off. So next, we are going to loosen up the axle adjusters here, and then we can just pull the axle right out. So you can grab your 12mm nut, just run that nut out a little bit there, and you can just back these bolts out most of the way. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so you find your appropriate size wrench, one on each side. And this, we're going to take some little bit of effort here. Just got to try and get that broken loose. There we go. Now we can just run that out the rest of the way. Alright, take off the nut, take off the washer, and you can set them to the side. Next, we're going to have to punch out the axle here, which looks like it just pushes right out of this. So just pull it out the other side. Now she dropped right down. Pull out your axle spacer. When you take your axle off, one thing that's a good idea, take your spacers, put them back on in the order they came off. That way you don't have to remember which one was which. Put on your washer and your nut, and then you can just set that all. Then you're just going to loop your belt right off. And she should slide right out. Sometimes it does get a little tight in here. So you might have to jack it up a little bit more. Right, looks just about out of there. Figure out what she's hanging up on. There we go. So bring up a little more so the wheel can just drop right out. Go. And catch on our license plate, but she's out of there. So we got the tire off. Now on this one, the pulley is not bolted to the wheel, it's just slotted in, so it came right off, which will be nice for later, which you'll see why. And then this brake rotor just lifts right out. Over here we can take a look at the pads. You can see we still got good life left to them. You want to make sure you do replace these if they are getting worn. Because one issue you will find with the drum rear brakes is what they're wearing against is part of the rim. So if you let these pads go too far and you score this down to where it's too worn, you're going to have to replace this whole wheel. But now the tire's off, we need to remove all the air from this so we can break the bead. So the easiest way is a valve core remover tool. Needle noses might work, so it's something like this. You don't have a clear shot, so probably won't work well. But you can make it work if you have to. So just put your tool in there and loosen her up. You can hear it starting to hiss. Alright, now that all the air is out, you're going to need some kind of bead breaker. And you can try a sledgehammer if you're careful about not hitting your rim. You can try the whole, put a board on it and drive on it with your car. Once again, watch out for your rim. Now what I have is an actual bead breaker tool. You might be able to buy ones that still look like this. Mine is a couple of generations old, but there are a lot of other different varieties out there. So for this one, there's this little notch down here that you put against the rim on the bottom. Then you have this curved part here that you're going to put against the rim here. And you're just going to carefully press down while making sure you are not catching the rim. It may take you a couple tries to get it so you can get it to break. Just be patient with it. You can see it's starting to go down. Let's see if she'll actually break on this try. Not yet. Try a little lower. There you go. That side broke, so now let's push around the outside and get it pushed into the center. Lift her up, flip her over, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, next we're going to get this tire up and over the rim. For that, you're going to want some tire changing spoons. Some people will tell you use something like a crowbar or screwdrivers. And yes, they will work, but usually at the expense of tearing up your tire or scoring your rim. So the first thing you're going to want is one of your bigger spoons. So you're going to get that. You see you have this nice curved hook. So you can slide that underneath. And it's just going to hook onto your tire bead there. Take it, pull it up carefully. See, you got to start there. So now you grab another spoon, small bites. If you try and take too much at a time, it's just going to spring back on top or you're going to damage your rim. We will try a little bit more here though, since we're not getting very far like that. Very good. She's starting to come up. At this point, you'll probably want a third spoon. Once again, same thing. Find a spot we can actually hook on. I think we're just going to stick that one back where the other one was. Pull that out. Hold those down and try with our bigger one again. There we go. Got a little piece. Slide it back a little bit. Stick my spoon back in there so we don't lose what we already have. Let's try and get a nice bite. There we go. Move over again. There we go. It's starting to come now. All right. Now we're making some progress. Now we should be far enough we can just pull this side of the bead right off. All right. There's one side. All right, before we can get the other side off, you're gonna have to take off this valve stem because this is a tube tire. So this one is the 12mm wrench. Already loosened it, so just spin the nut right off. Set her aside and you can push the valve stem right back through. All right, got the stem pushed out. You're just gonna take the tube and pull it right back out. Now we're ready to pull off the other side of our bead. So we're going to go through the exact same process we just went through. Take your spoons, find your bead, and start to get her pulled up and over. There you go. Tire is off. Just look at that difference. Here's the new tire. There's the old one. You can see like right here where the bands are showing through.